This is God's Word for today, a daily blog presented to you by the First Baptist Church of Rosemont and Mike Jans, its pastor. We have these up on Mike Jans's website or Mike Jans's Facebook page, and you can see them each day. I hope that you will tune in. Ephesians 4:26 is a verse that many of us know because we are so prone to anger. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. Then there's a commentary at the end. Be angry. That's a very, very uncommon phrase, we would think, because we're always fighting against our anger. But there is something called righteous indignation that happens in your new man and your new life when you encounter sin. And I suppose the worse sin, the worse anger, maybe particularly at what you consider to be extremely evil, bad, terrible in our world. And it is, in that case, terrible. And you have a righteous indignation attitude towards it. But righteous indignation needs to be rightly aimed. And oftentimes it's not. Oftentimes our anger is aimed at people rather than actions, rather than attitudes. Because anger should be something that can be used by God to deepen your burden, can be used by God to reveal sin in other people's lives. But it is something that is momentary. It is not meant to be even for a whole day, as the text indicates. Be angry and yet do not sin. All anger is not sin, but all anger seems to have an emotional component. And all anger is cautionary. Whenever you're angry, don't assume it's righteous indignation. First assume, the safe assumption is this is sin. Look at it carefully. Maybe you'll look at it for a moment and see, no, this is genuine anger at sin. But oftentimes we excuse our fleshly anger for righteous indignation. Do not let the sun go down on your sin. Make sure you keep, as many people say, a short leash. Make sure you understand that life is, again, momentary. And to keep it right with God and right with others, it needs to be dealt with momentarily. Make right what is wrong quickly. Encourage you to do that. I don't do it all the time. Days go by, hours go by. But you're rightly aimed at God. You're rightly dealing with anger when anger of the flesh is dealt with immediately. Really, anger of the Spirit, anger of the new nature is dealt with immediately. Pray more about that which angered you. Don't measure your talk by others, but measure it by what God would have you say. Look at and know very well the book of Proverbs as it deals with your tongue and what you should say and what you shouldn't say. You'll know whether it's righteous anger pretty soon by what's coming out of your mouth. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. Anger is mostly sinful. Anger is mostly forgetful. And anger is mostly harmful. The Bible does tack on something here. Verse 27, it says, do not let the devil have an opportunity. Someone would say, someone has said, many someones I suppose, as you read commentaries regarding this text, that we do the devil's work for him. That he doesn't need to do a whole lot of work because our flesh acts against things, and our flesh sometimes acts instead of our new nature, and we wind up out of fellowship quickly. We wind up perhaps hurting other people. So recognize when you're dealing with your anger that your object of anger is the sin. Now, does God get angry at people, at the wicked, at people that are against him? Yes, the Bible makes that clear, and we can, I suppose, engage in that anger as well. But be careful, because anger is genuinely against sin. Thank you for being with us here on God's Word for Today. I pray that God would greatly bless you and your whole family.